do, Jimmy, let's get it started. Everybody's excited. We're obviously excited. Let's talk about the all-new Curaytor.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And at Curaytor, we're really about one thing, and that's growth. That's why our customers hire us. They hire us to help them grow their business, and that informs everything we do at the company, from marketing and sales and support and coaching. And of course, what we're going to unveil today are product decisions. But before we get into the all-new Curaytor, before we walk through the entire platform and our strategies and our philosophy behind that, Chris, I thought it'd be actually really helpful for us to talk about the current state of marketing and sales. And as you guys are listening to Chris walk through this process, I want you to pay very close attention here because there's a ton of takeaways. But Chris, why don't we just start off with the process that we go through right now when it comes to launching and running a marketing sales campaign?
Sure. We like to call ourselves customer number one because we are a professional marketing company that's also doing marketing for hundreds of small businesses. And so through that process, what we've learned is that all-in-one is not enough, because all-in-one is technology. And what really people need and what people should be looking for is, number one, ideas, and number two, execution. And ideas and execution come from people. They don't come from pixels. They come from pulses. They don't come from a website or a landing page. So even if you've got an all-in-one system, if you don't have great ideas going into it and you don't have great help with it, it's not a great system. And so if you think about today, the buckets that we're going to cover, Jimmy, we're going to cover 6 pieces to our all-in-one. We want to redefine what an all-in-one means, because the first part of a great marketing campaign is a great idea. And where do people get great ideas today? Well, they go to webinars and conferences. They're in masterminds. They read blog posts. They listen to podcasts. They're in Facebook groups. They read books. They have coaches. They listen to gurus. The challenge, though, is that typically the ideas that you're getting, number one, are not proven. There's no data behind them. It's just an idea. And then number two, the idea doesn't connect to the next step, because once you've got a great idea, the next thing is creating a piece of great content, whether that's on your website or through a landing page. And if you look at where people go today, Jimmy, to create content, there's a million options: WordPress, Squarespace, Wix, Unbounce, Lead Pages, Instapage. This is what people call a CMS. So you've got to put great ideas into the website, or the website doesn't matter. You've got to put great ideas into the landing page, or the landing page doesn't matter. But once you've got great ideas and a great website to put them into, the next step is that you need to run ads. And if you look at where people could advertise, you've got Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and LinkedIn and Google. You could do traditional advertising. You could do direct mail, newspaper. You could do industry specific stuff like Zillow or Super Lawyers, or, what are the restaurant ones, right? Like Seamless, like Uber Eats, right? There's a million places to advertise. But if you run a bad ad, it doesn't matter where you run it. And even if you run good ads in places and then people go back and check you out after the ad and your website sucks, the ad doesn't convert. So the ideas and the content creators and the places to run ads are out there, Jimmy. I mean, I'm already a little overwhelmed. I wonder if people feel our pain. But what happens is you get analysis paralysis, and you end up with this discombobulated approach to marketing.
And let me just pose one quick question to the audience, for everyone who's listening right now. Where are you currently getting your ideas from? And once you actually get those ideas, where are you currently running your campaigns? What CMS are you using? Are you using a Squarespace, a Wix, or a real estate specific CMS? We'll share some of the feedback to the process, but you're absolutely right, Chris. Just before you even get to the next phase here, we only talked about sort of the first 3: ideas, website, and even advertising. And now I think a lot of people right now are getting that feeling in their gut, like, I don't even have enough time to execute on what we're talking about. But there's more than that, and I want you to talk about the next step.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we're going to do is we're going to show you our approach to connecting these dots, and that is the all-new Curaytor. But it's really important to look at how it's done now. And so once you've got the idea, and once you've got the content, and once you've run the ad, the next step is definitely email marketing. Keeping in touch with the database you've already built And if you look at what could I go out and sign up for there, you've got MailChimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, BombBomb, Vertical Response, Happy Grasshopper. The tools are out there, guys. The challenge is that technology is becoming ubiquitous. All these tools have one feature better than the other one. But what I want you guys to learn today is that the sum of the parts are better than any of the parts. So if you have a little bit less functionality in one of these tools, but they actually all work together, the system is better than any silo. The silos are what break all this stuff down. Once you've sent the email, Jimmy, now you've got a great idea and you've run an ad and you've sent an email. Well, now you've got to follow up. Now you've got to go after the people that the marketing engaged or that the leads that came in. And so where do people follow up? They log into Salesforce or HubSpot or Contactually or Top Producer or Wise Agent, or they might have a more advanced follow-up system like Infusionsoft or Marketo or Eloqua. But hopefully what you guys feel is our pain. Like Jimmy, when we started Curaytor, the ideas came from us. The website was WordPress. The landing pages were Unbounced. The email tool was MailChimp, and the CRM was Follow Up Boss. Like, we get the challenge that people go through because we went through it. And so that's why we're so excited today to show you again how we've connected these dots. But even once you've got the ideas and the content and the ads and the emails and you've got your follow-up systems in place, the last thing people typically need, Jimmy, is help. They actually need someone to either run it or they need help learning how to run it themselves. And where do people go to get help with their system? They go to Muse, they go to Indeed or Monster. A lot of them get a virtual assistant from the Philippines. A lot of them tap a college kid or a high school kid on the shoulder. Some of them sadly go to Fiverr. Some people use Freelancer, but a lot of people DIY. So if you think about our version of all-in-one, it starts with great ideas and it ends with great help. And if you've been struggling, even if you have all the right tools in the middle, that's why.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue, Chris, to dive right into the first part of our new platform as we unveil the all-new Curaytor, which is what Chris just talked about, which is every great marketing campaign starts with proven ideas. So I'm going to pull this up, Chris, and I want you to walk me through what everyone in this webinar is going to be seeing in just a moment here.
Sure. So this is our take on where you find a great idea. And we actually use normal language, Jimmy. We call it brain. Like on our new website, it says our brain is smarter than yours. And it's true because what we've actually done is we've connected all of our clients into one interface so they can go in and find all of the best emails, all of the best ads, and they can actually find something that's proven. So this is a great example here. Like, Jimmy, go in and find an email with the highest click-through rate all time. And the other little features you guys are seeing there is like, not everybody has the same email list as you. Not everybody has the same size of a list. So when you look at Curaytor Brain, when you look at the ads and emails we'll show you, you're actually finding ideas that are in line with where you're at in your business. So if you look at those first three emails, Jimmy, as one example, the average click-through rate of an email is 1%, and the average open rate is 18%. And those first three in our brain have 60% and 30% click-through rate, 50 and 25. So if I'm just looking at this really quickly, do you notice, Jimmy, that all three of them have an emoji in the subject line?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things you're going to be able to do when you're using proven ideas that actually have the real data behind it, is you start to establish trends that inform every future marketing decision. And this is something, Chris, I think the difference between amateur marketers and professional marketers is that amateur marketers think that there is some secret sauce, that once they learn that secret sauce, they have the proven strategy to run campaigns from now until eternity. Proven marketers realize it's a moving target. And that, professional marketers realize they kind of have to constantly be learning new things because it's not going to always be staying the same.
Well, Jimmy, the way I like to explain it is that we don't know what'll be at the top of Curaytor Brain in 6 months, but we know it'll work. because
Yep.
marketing is a moving target. Like switch over to the brain for ads, because when you're cabbing, when you're creating, advertising, blasting, let's say your goal is to get as many comments as possible. Click the drop down, Jimmy, of all the ways people can search, because some people want comments, some people want shares, some people want video views, some people want as much reach as possible. So if my goal was the most comments and I had $100 budget, I can go into Curaytor Brain, click in all time, and it'll show the ads that have gotten the most comments throughout our entire community based on different budgets. And here's another
Yeah,
quick takeaway, Jimmy. Like the last screen and this screen, they're giving people choices. That stuff works. 1, 2, 3, 4. So
yeah.
we're not guessing what works. We know what works. And every Curaytor client's ads and emails are going in here. Like, here's the other cool thing you can do, Jimmy. Sometimes when you're doing marketing, where you're located matters. So you can also search Brain. And we learned this trick the other day. Like, just search California. Like, if you want to see what the ads and emails look like in your state, there's the ads with the word California. And then it's still the same things, most clicks, most click-throughs. So when you're a Curaytor client, you're not marketing alone and you're not guessing about what works. And when we show this technology to people that are professional marketers, we don't even have to show them the rest of the stuff. They already want it once they see this. So that's Curaytor Brain. Jimmy, if you want to add anything about the brain, I know there's a couple additional features I didn't mention, but
Sure.
yeah.
Well, let me just touch on one thing, because I think you mentioned at the beginning of today's coaching session, which is this idea that where do great ideas come from? And most people use blogs and they use webinars and they have maybe a YouTube channel they subscribe to. And you get this sort of superficial look at, hey, this is a good idea, but we don't really know the data behind it. And you maybe have a couple likes, couple comments, couple shares, and people sort of reference it. What we do is we actually drill down to provide all the relevant ad data and email data at that micro level, Chris, so they can understand that, hey, I don't want to be comparing someone who's running an advertising campaign that's spending $600 if I have a $50 budget. So one of the things that you can do with Curaytor Brain is not only can you, at a high level, like Chris just walked through, be able to look at every type of campaign based on the objective, but then you can drill down very specifically to see how much, how these campaigns performed on some of the key metrics you care about. If
Well,
you're
Jimmy,
looking
these
to
are
have
all the questions we would get. We would share an ad that did really well back in the day, and people would say, well, how'd you target it? How much did you spend on it? How many clicks did you get? So we thought, what if we could create a way to expose that data for our other clients? Obviously, this is much more scalable than me and Jimmy answering that every time somebody asks.
Well, Chris, just to put it into perspective for everyone who's listening today, we now track over 125,000 Facebook ads. And we track now tens of thousands of emails. There'll be 100,000 by the end of the year. So when you think about that, when you kind of take all that data and realize that as a marketer, you don't want to waste your time running campaigns that simply don't work.
Yeah, and
so
Jimmy,
much
let
of
me ask
being
the audience real quick. I want to ask the audience, and we'll show one more feature of Brain, and then we'll get into the new custom sites and the Create tab. I do want people to look at the top of the screen there, where it says Brain, Create, Advertise, Blast, and then you see the bell. When we went through the buckets earlier, this is the all-in-one. Like, this is the first time we've ever put everything we do in one platform. So that's why we're so excited. But Jimmy, I want to ask the audience really quick, just a quick yes or no, guys, in the chat. Are you using video for your business? Are you using any type of video for your business? And Jimmy, there's a ton of yeses, like a few no's. But at some, there's so many conferences and so many, there's just been so many times that people have been hit over the head saying you got to do video, that people are really starting to do it. And what's funny is, people always chase that new shiny object and they go, hey, I want to do videos. And they sign up to do Bomb, or they sign up, for a YouTube channel. But doesn't every great video also start with a great idea, Jimmy? Like, there's nobody telling us what to do on the water cooler. Nobody's telling me what to put into my video podcast that I do curated. Like, every great video also starts with a great idea. So show how Brain for video works, because this is one of our newest features.
Yeah, so when you're looking at, let's say, email campaigns, which is how you're going to be sending these emails, you have the ability just to show by video only, and you have the ability to basically filter the search to see it. And Chris, what's so I think awesome about this is that for the people who are scared to get in video, they go on YouTube and they say, "How do you record a great video?" And it's almost always a professional speaker or presenter who has great lighting, a great mic, good smile, and they're saying, "Oh, it's really easy. Just get in front of the camera, hit play, and do it." And what you're seeing with Curaytor Brain and what you're seeing with the video emails that our clients are producing is you see sort of the down and dirty style that actually exists in the real world. So when you look at Gary Wiseman as an example, and you look at his email, I'll pull up an example so you can just see it. This isn't necessarily like this super high quality, high production video email, but you have the ability to see exactly what Gary is saying and the message he's using.
Yeah,
So for
Jimmy,
me, Chris,
do me a
what this
favor.
really does.
Yeah, Jimmy, do
Sure.
me a favor. Click on View List Breakdown because we're going to come back to this when we get into Blast. But
Okay.
yeah, just like when you look at a Facebook ad, you can see who he actually sent this to. So you can see it
Yeah,
was
super
people
important.
tagged Frisco, people that had opened recent emails. So we're going to show how that works with our system soon. But then also, Jimmy, click that Save Email button because we're going to come back to that. So you can see all the data behind the email, plus you can save it to use for yourself, which we'll get back to in a little bit. But the thing that's really exciting for us, Jimmy, is the next tab, which is Create. And if people go right now, and Sarah's going to drop the link in the chat, we are going to unveil the all new Curaytor.com. And what we do at Curaytor is we call it eating our own dog food. We use all of our technology to grow our business. And one of the challenges that we've had is we want our clients to be able to build beautiful websites, but we also want them to be a beast. We want our clients' sites to be beauty and the beast. And so in the past, to make that happen, we gave them a framework. We gave them what you would kind of call a theme, Jimmy, right? And we made that theme exclusive. And a bunch of people tried to rip us off and copy our theme. But the other thing that's happening today for Curaytor is we are now working with companies outside of real estate. We are now working with gyms and motivational speakers and yoga studios and mortgage companies and car dealerships. We are opening up our services to companies outside of real estate. We also, of course, use Curaytor, and we're a software company, a consulting company, a media company. So we believe no matter what business you're in, you're going to need to create content, advertise it the right way, and email and follow up with leads. And we actually are a lot of times more inspired by the companies and the industries outside of real estate. So that's a very new, exciting thing. And so Jimmy's going to walk you guys through a bunch of the new pages that we built. We'll show it to you on the front end, and then we're going to go under the hood and we'll show you how everything works in the back end as well. So Jimmy, let's walk them through the all new Curaytor.com.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And we couldn't be more proud of the work that our team has done here. And it's been a long journey for Chris and I over the last couple of years, just bringing this thing into existence. But fundamentally, Chris just mentioned, a site has to first and foremost be beautiful. That is a requirement. Chris, what's the stat behind the importance of design that I think everyone
Yeah,
was
there
calling
was
these?
a huge consumer study done, and they found that when a person said, "I don't trust your website," like I didn't use you because I didn't trust your site, 93% cited design as where that lack of trust came from. Only 7% cited the copy. And I mentioned earlier, obviously, if you have a great ad that leads to a terrible site, ultimately it's still a terrible site, right? Or it's
Yeah.
still a terrible ad. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, walk us through. Let's start on the home page, and then we're going to walk through a bunch of pages. And then, like I said, we're going to go through the back end to show you how to build these. But we're very,
Sure.
very excited that people are seeing it for the first time.
And I'm going to, as I'm walking through the design, I'm going to explain sort of the back end that we'll show you here in just a moment. But as you can see here, we have an entirely new design of the homepage of the site, and everything that you see, everything that's clickable, every image, every bit of copy, every style of font, colors. It is all customizable. And what I want you to be envisioning here is these are what we refer to at Curaytor as objects. These are things that can be stacked on top of each other. So whether it is a object that is a hero object, which is typically the first thing you see on a web page, or it is a call to action object, which is really important because on any web page, you either want to do one of two things. You either want to get them to convert, fill out a form, or you want them to click. That's it. So we either convert or click. So you have a call to action object. You have video objects that are built in. So for those of you who are using video, to the poll question earlier, one of the things we want our clients to be able to do is to showcase these amazing, beautiful videos that highlight what makes them special and unique in a really powerful way. And then in addition to that, you have the ability to include things like full rich forms on a page. Going back to that earlier point, you want to have the ability to convert or click. So embedding forms is incredibly easy through the Curaytor platform. And then finally, I'm just on the homepage right now, just showing you that we are going to use dynamic content. If you've listened to Chris and I over the years, you know that we have preached and we have coached and we have trained everyone who will listen that you need to be creating content to drive traffic to your website, to persuade people to want to hire you, to showcase what makes you unique and special. And one of the things we want to be able to do here is through an object, showcase the dynamic content on your website. And there's lots of ways you can customize that and tweak that to fit your business. Importance of design. One philosophy we've always subscribed to at Curaytor is if you're a $100,000 business, you want to look like $1 million business. And if you're $1 million business, you want to look like a $10 million business. And if you're a $10 million business, you want to look like a $1 billion company. And that's the presence you want to exude. And that all starts with having a beautiful design. So fundamentally on the homepage, you're seeing us use a few custom objects to show what makes us special. Clear call to action. What do we do at Curaytor? We help small businesses grow. We highlight what Chris has been talking about, ideas, tools, and execution. We highlight some credentials, where we've been featured. This builds trust with consumers. We link over to some more testimonials, again, highlighting the trust factor. And then we showcase some additional articles we're featuring here because that highlights the fact that we're experts at what we do, and you can learn that by simply reading some of the posts that we share on our blog. So Chris, this is just the home page. I know we want to cover a few other additional pages, but just I want to get the feedback for everyone who's watching. I know you guys have seen the evolution of Curaytor. I'd love to hear what you guys think of the all-new Curaytor and the all-new Curaytor homepage. And you can drop that in the chat for us.
Yeah, and also, Jimmy, what I think would make sense is why don't we just right now show how we could make those changes? Because if you look at just the theme settings and some of the options we've rolled out there, and then if you look at just the editing of, those pages, talk a little bit about the theme settings, because we talked about this at our conference. We have a very specific red that we use at Curaytor. A lot of our clients have a certain kind of green or a pink. Some people love social and are very socially active. Some aren't. Some people have certain fonts they like, and some people have certain different elements that they want there. So show a little bit about kind of how you could change almost the whole look of the site with just a couple quick choices.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So the theme settings is something that we thought a lot about because if you look at the existing space, I think too often website builders give you so many choices that it forces you as the small business owner to become a designer by trade. And what we wanted to do is we have this theory at Curaytor, which is make it awesome by default. So what we provided was a few different styles for header. So as you saw the original homepage, this is what the header looks like. I can change that. I can choose different options depending on if I want to maybe feature the social icons more. I have some effect options. This is the ability for me to add a little bit of pizzazz to the website. So whether I want to fix the header, I want to make it transparent, or I want to have a fade effect, I can change that. Now, if I just stop there and I just save this for a moment, I can immediately go back to the homepage, and when I refresh, it will update to the new design. You'll see the logo will shift over, the social icons will be in the top right, and there will be no longer that fade effect. So with 2 clicks, I just change the entire navigation of the website. Now, as Chris was just alluding to, that's just the navigation. If I go further down the screen here, I have the option to update the footer style. I have the option to choose my primary colors and my secondary colors, my font styles here. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to give our clients and we wanted to give our future customers the ability to really showcase their brand. And when you have just a handful of templates to choose from, or in our case previously, just one template to choose from, you become too restricted and you end up trying to sort of squeeze too much into a website. So when you have you spend a lot of money designing your logo and you spend a lot of money choosing your fonts and you spend a lot of money and a lot of time thinking about what colors you want to use, we wanted to be able to accommodate those designs. We wanted to be able to have you guys create websites that look and feel totally unique to your brand. So it makes it a heck of a lot harder for people to sort of rip you off. And that's what happens when you become successful.
Yeah, Jimmy,
so Chris,
and also, we didn't want the lawyer to look like the realtor. We don't want the car dealer to look like the software company. So with these very simple settings, you immediately differentiate yourself. But then, Jimmy, go into the settings of the homepage that you created. Because
sure.
I think when people see kind of how we've built, here's what we talked about. Marketers want a lot of options. Marketers want a lot of customization. Marketers want a million features. Salespeople want simple. So we're trying to make everything we build simple, but ultimately we want to make sure that the marketers have the actual tools they need. Remember, we're customer one. We're pretty picky over here, Jimmy.
That's right. And when he says we are pretty picky, he's referring to himself in this case.
Hey, by the way,
He is very
there was a really nice feedback that I wanted to share about the site from Casey in the chat. She said it's clean and simple. It takes very few thinking calories to understand.
I love that. Casey, here's a great tip for you and everyone in the audience. There's something called the 5-second test in web design, which is if you pull your website up and you count down from 5 to a stranger or someone in your family or friends, count down from 5, and then you close the browser, close your computer, and ask them what they can remember from the site, you'll know how good your design is. It's the 5-second test. Because people, when they look at a website, as Chris has been talking about this entire time, they immediately either have a sense of this is clear, their point is obvious, or this is confusing and I'm overwhelmed. So Chris, going back to your earlier point about how do we update this particular page? Well, every page in the Curaytor platform can be customized. And the way it works is in the back end of your website, you have a list of all your content. And we break it up in a logical way for you so it's easy to navigate. We have pages, which are typically evergreen pages like your home page and your sales page and your about page. And then we have posts, which are, your blog posts, things that you're, frequently updating on your website. But as I scroll down here, you'll see that we have Curaytor helping small businesses grow. This is our home page of our website. So under the Actions tab, all I have to do is simply click on Edit. And now I have the ability to see the actual home page that you all just looked at on the front end from the back end. And we have a very simple but incredibly robust visual that allows me, if I want to change this to, let's say, helping big businesses grow, I can change that, and that will actually save on the front end. So the best way I think you've described in the past, Chris, is that the same way Google Docs works in terms of when you're updating things.
Yeah.
That's how the new Curaytor platform works from an object perspective.
Yeah. And I think the chat, like normally when you're editing settings. And I love this visual editor. You're actually editing what you see. And then Jimmy, click preview, because the other thing somebody asked in the chat was about mobile and responsiveness. What I would ask everybody watching to do is, because we actually built a really cool mobile preview, tablet preview. This is still unreleased, but you can see it's pretty clean. But all you have to do, guys, go on your phone right now. Go on your phone right now, please, and go to Curaytor.com and click around, because we build for mobile and then we make sure it also looks great on desktop. But you can preview tablet mode, iPhone mode, mobile mode, desktop mode. We're really excited about that. But back to the other screen where you're actually changing the headline. Like, how nice is that you can actually just type a new headline and it appears? That is typically a lot more complicated. Like, we have clients that we work with, Jimmy, where they ended up spending tens of thousands of dollars on a custom site. And then it was sort of built to where it's very hard to make changes. Remember some of our old custom WordPress sites that Mike would build. And it was like we
Yeah.
basically had to like call Mike or Andrew to make a change, or Vlad, and we just think that if you're a small business owner and you want to change the photo on your homepage, if you want to change what the headline says, or you want to add a new button, you shouldn't have to call tech support. You shouldn't need a geek for that. The technology should be simple when it comes to those changes. But the other cool thing, Jimmy, is let's say we actually wanted to add something to a page or change a page. Show how the objects work, because I just think this is so exciting. Where, let's say hypothetically, I'll give you a scenario. We've got a situation where we want to put an announcement above that widget. So we want to just do a line of text that says the all new Curaytor is here. Click here to sign up. Show how the objects work and then how you edit the objects. It's super cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to walk you through this process. So everything that I said at the beginning is everything is an object that's stacked on top of each other. So I can just simply click on the objects option. I can choose, let's call it a call to action. I'll just simply drag and drop it into the page itself. Now, our designers are cringing because they made this thing look beautiful before today's big announcement. But let's say, like Chris said, I want to basically have an email subscribe option. I can choose that as a CTA type. I can align it. I can add a background image or a background video or even a background color as an example. I have the option. This is a big takeaway too. Quick pro tip for you guys. We have the ability to update the confirmation page, which is a huge opportunity where a lot of people fall short. So every setting that's available for this particular visual design is now available for you to change and edit. Mm-hmm. And when we say you have the ability to have unlimited designs, Chris, this is what we mean. So if something's important to you, like you have a big announcement, and you want to put that at the homepage of your website, you can simply do that by dragging an object over, choosing the settings, and then visually editing the copy to say whatever it is you want to say.
Yeah, that is so cool. And it is hard to do that on other stuff. And go back real quick, Jimmy. Hit the settings button one more time. One of the features that our clients love is the Facebook subscribe. So you've got it where it's an email subscribe. It could also be a button. But if Jimmy just clicks Facebook subscribe, now that actually changed as well. So obviously we wouldn't use the orange and some of the stuff that we're using, but it makes adding like these kind of calls to action. But that could have been a video that we put above the next widget. And then if Jimmy decides that doesn't look good, he can just delete that object. But we've got a ton of objects in here now that all you do is drag and drop them over. We've got the ability to drag custom embeddable widgets. And then we're planning on adding to the object library. So if people have suggestions, or if we come up with widgets, let's say, hey, I want somebody to be able to kind of book themselves on my calendar, and I use this really cool tool. Our platform is very open source. We're very compatible with outside embeds, like call it Matterport, Jimmy, some of that stuff. Or we do podcasting on, SoundCloud and Stitcher. So it's very embed friendly. But I'd love to know from the audience, like somebody just said, Jimmy, you're going to love this one too. This is the best marketing platform on the market. And that was really our goal, was like, we just think that a lot of companies think small when they think about real estate. I love DocuSign, Jimmy. Like DocuSign, they came into real estate and they solved a big problem. And they took the whole industry from paper to digital. But they didn't stop there. They didn't stop and say, oh, well, now the realtors are happy and maybe this is the only place we can go. They thought, what if doctors and lawyers and companies and teachers and universities might want to use this technology to help them? And that's our mindset, is we want to be able to help small businesses grow faster. Now, if you are in the real estate industry, you're probably used to having a company sign up with you and then give you some type of exclusivity and then take that exclusivity away because they reach some type of saturation point. But what we're doing instead is we're actually paying our clients to refer us business. They're submitting their mortgage guy. They're submitting the lady that owns the restaurant in downtown. So that's really exciting, Jimmy, that everybody can now differentiate themselves, and Curaytor Brain is going to be filled with a lot more inspiration. My favorite companies, my favorite marketing, my favorite branding is very rarely from real estate. It's Apple. It's Gary V. You know what I mean? It's these outside of the industry influences. And that's going to be what we believe takes us to the next level, is that now there's differentiation and there's ideas from elsewhere. Hopefully we'll go big. That's our motto: go big or stay home. Jimmy, let's do one more thing here, because when you're in the setting, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I just want to show one other feature, which is, and this is something that's just super important for those of you who are marketers on the call. This is a feature that our team is absolutely loving, is the ability to duplicate content. So once you have one beautiful design, when you take an hour or 2 hours to perfect every pixel on the page so it looks amazing, you are oftentimes going to want to repurpose that for future marketing campaigns. Like Chris just said, maybe you just saw a doctor run a great campaign that you think is an awesome opportunity for you to drive more traffic to your website. Well, you can take that idea, find one of your existing designs or one of the ones that we've loaded up for you, and you can duplicate that just by choosing that option. And now you have an entirely new kind of blank canvas with all those features preset for you. That type of sort of convenience, Chris, is why marketers are going to love Curaytor and the new platform, because we know that that part of the process is pretty laborious and painstaking for most marketers at this point.
Yeah, it is, Jimmy. The other thing is, once you've created content, the other thing that you can build is custom landing pages. But what a lot of times you do with a landing page is you're actually building a deliverable that the person is unlocking. So what's really cool with the new Curaytor is that once you have a blog post or once you build a page, if you want to require registration, you can. You don't have to. But to do that, Jimmy is actually just going to his website. He's not logging into the back end of anything. He's just going to curaytor.com/magic and watch how this works. Jimmy, walk them through how you turn a Curaytor page into a landing page with just a couple clicks.
Yeah, so every page on your website can become a landing page, as Chris just said. And by simply adding /magic, now you have the option to basically build out a custom landing page that forces registration. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose the source. And this will make a lot of sense as we go into magic moments a little bit later on. But you want to have attribution. So many people on the call right now, you might have 3 or 4 advertising campaigns going for Facebook. You might be running a Google AdWords campaign. You might be, dipping your toes into Instagram. You might be using AdRoll for retargeting. So you're going to choose, where is this ad going to be displayed, or where is the source going to basically come from? So that way you know if your advertising is working. Then you're going to choose your landing page type. And we made this really visual for you to make it really easy to understand. You can basically have a no registration, which is, best for content that you want to get mass distribution for. But you can put it behind a full registration, which requires phone number. You can put it behind an email only, which is kind of ideal for blogs. Or you can use something like a Facebook registration, which is really good for that sort of seamless, click and convert experience. And once you do that, now you can just simply build the link. Now, if I open up I chose the Facebook option here. If I open up a new tab and I go to the Curaytor website, you'll notice that the registration exists right there, pops up. It sort of flows into the page, where I can't view the content behind the page until I actually register, either via Facebook or signing in. So Chris, I know we have a wide range of people on today's call. Give me an example, if you would, of a couple common use cases for building landing pages on top of content like this.
Yeah, we keep it really simple. Every quarter or about every 6 months, we look at all of our stats and we look at what content did the best in the last 6 months. And then we just put registration in front of that. Because if you have a really great article or a really great video or a really great tutorial or blog post, and thousands of people have read it and shared it and liked it, then you're going to catch less heat if you make people register to get to it. But the nice thing, Jimmy, is people can choose. Because like when you really become a client, we teach Magic Million, Chunky Middle, and Sweet Spot. And we talk about where you should make people register and where you shouldn't. It's a little bit too inside baseball for, today. But ultimately, we give people the option. Most websites either don't make people register or they make them register after a couple clicks. And our clients have either option at any time. Plus, they can choose full reg, email only, like Jimmy mentioned. So, landing pages, one thing people don't know, Jimmy, is that when you're a professional marketer, think about a listing. Every new listing needs a new landing page, and so professional marketers use a new landing page 50% of the time. And companies that use 40 or more landing pages in their marketing actually generate 10 times more leads. So landing pages are a huge part of what we do. You can build them in the back end and make them super custom and beautiful. We actually created the ability to build a page and then hide the header and footer.
Yep.
We actually created the ability to build a page and then make it your home page with one click. So there's more than we can show on this webinar, but go to Curaytor.com, click around. And by the way, if you already know you want what you see, at any time during the webinar, you just need to put your cell phone number and the zip code your office is in the chat box. We're going to sell out dozens and dozens of markets today. 96% of the markets that we sell out never become available again. And so if you want to work with us, our sales team is about to be in the weeds for days. And so if you're already ready to sign up, a lot of people have been watching us for months and years. Go ahead and put your number and your zip code in the chat, and then we're going to continue to finish this up. But Jimmy, one of the cool things is that we have a ton of current clients on the call. And what we're actually doing is 100% of our current clients are getting all of these upgrades for free. And because of that, even if you want to sign up right now, if you're not a client yet, you're not going to start until January. So you sign up now, we take your first payment, and then you actually launch in January because our focus is on the clients that have helped us get to this point. We want to launch the new clients quickly and efficiently, but even if you sign up today, you're going to start with the all-new Curaytor in January because every current client is getting all of this for free and they're getting set up first. We think that loyalty matters, and you guys would want that if you were already a client. Somebody asked our pricing. We're less than you're thinking, but more than you're hoping, Hank. That's how I like to explain our pricing. But we'll go through all the pricing, all the rest of the features. I love the question from Greg, when's the IPO? But a lot of people have just been, there's people on this webinar, Jimmy, they've been watching us for 5 years, and this is the moment they've been waiting for. But wait till we get to the sales tool. Wait till we get to the blast tool. So I think we've covered the C. There's a lot of other things we weren't able to show. Let's go through the A really quick, Jimmy, because this is something that is a challenge for us. If you click on My Ads, like if you've ever tried to log into Facebook, and if you're a mortgage banker, you're not a poor mortgage banker anymore, Ed, you can call in right now and sign up. But again, any new client, no matter what their industry, is going to be starting in January. We just have to be really smart here. And any questions you guys have, or if you put your phone number and zip code in the chat, our sales team is going to follow up with every single person as quickly as they can. But when we log into Facebook, like Jimmy, let's say we actually wrote a new article about Facebook, and my brother who runs our marketing wants to do an ad about the new article. Like we can go and look at all of our ads. Like let's say we want the most link clicks all time, and my brother has a $500 budget to work with. Like I can't explain how difficult it is to actually look at your own ads. Jimmy, it's almost impossible to see your own ads. So if we go and look at a monthly report or a weekly report, we can now see every ad we're running with any budget based on the budget. And so we built the brain for ads so that everybody can see each other's ads and get inspired. But I can't tell you how helpful it is for us to have our own Facebook ads in that same interface. Like, I would love to know, those of you listening, who have been running a lot of Facebook ads, how much more do you like this than the freaking ads manager? Go log into Facebook ads manager. Go
Yep.
log into Facebook business manager. Like, it is so difficult to even look at your own stuff. So when you're going to run an ad for a piece of content, there's probably an ad idea in brain, but you might have an ad that you've already run. And so if we want comments or link clicks or video views, we can look at all of that data Jimmy showed earlier, but now it's just our stuff, which is
Yeah,
so
let me
cool.
just
Michael McKinnon said, ads manager sucks big tacos. That's pretty funny. Like,
yeah.
but that is about how it feels when you're in there.
Yeah, for sure. And to go back to Chris's earlier point about Curaytor, we eat our own dog food. Look at our ad spend over the last 30 days. $3,500, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, $400, $500. We're investing so heavily in the platform because it works for us. And
yeah, Jimmy,
so
let's ask the audience really quick. Like, give us a real quick yes or no, guys. Did you see an ad on Facebook about this webinar? Did you see an ad on Facebook about this webinar? But I want you to think about this. Did you actually register through an email? See what I'm saying, Jimmy?
Yep.
So like a lot of these people saw all the ads, but they actually registered through an email. So that's why we create it and we advertise it and we email it. Because if you're top of newsfeed and you're top of inbox, you're top of mind, period. So yeah, I love seeing how many of the people actually registered through the email versus Facebook, but a lot of people saw it on Facebook, registered by email. That's why we call it cabbing. I love that.
That's it, and that's a perfect segue, Chris, right, to get into the part where right now, for those of you on the call right now, when Chris and I have a webinar or coaching session, we do it on Facebook. We'll get tens of thousands of people to register. When we have something on email, we're lucky to maybe break 1,000. But email has the highest ROI of any marketing channel. And it's why we built it into not only our technology, but our marketing philosophy and our strategy. So, Chris, let's walk them through how sending an email through Curaytor works.
Yeah, it's so cool. And this is where kind of the having everything in one place and having one company give you the idea, give you the creation tool, give you the ad and the email helps. Because when we go to send an email, watch how this works, guys. Jimmy, click on create a list. And I want you to zoom in a little bit on this section. Because what's so cool is we have, if you guys see right there, and like Jimmy said, we eat our own dog food. We have 36,460 people in our database. But let's say we wanted to get contracts signed. Let's say we wanted to focus on new leads. Jimmy, click on under 30 days, LinkedIn database. So to do really effective email marketing, you actually can't send stuff to everybody. Like so now Jimmy said, people that have been in the database less than 30 days, but Jimmy, click on site activity 7 days, right? So what we're doing is we just found 67 people that registered less than a month ago and were on the site less than a week ago. So when you know that much about the person you're about to email, the emails do great. But what most people do is they send one big message to everybody. Jimmy, delete those filters. I want to show a couple more. Go down a little bit. One of the best techniques you can use is to email stuff to the people that opened your last one. Like when you guys get our emails, you're not all getting them. Because if we wanted to follow up, like let's say Jimmy wanted to send an email about the conference for next year. Well, why would we send it to our whole list? Why not just send it to the people where it says your excellence ticket? You see what I'm saying? So those are just the people that opened the email about the ticket last year. You think they might buy the ticket more likely this year? So when you've got everything connected, you can, Jimmy, show the one about pages they visited. Because when you have 36,000 people and 3 sales reps, we don't have time to follow up with all of you. But click on the testimonials page. You see what I'm saying? So we can go from 36,000 to 1,500 with one click. And now we're only emailing people that went to our testimonials page. This is one of the things I'm the most proud of anything we've done, Jimmy, because we just fixed people spamming. And remember, when you're in Brain, when you showed that email earlier, that email showed you who the guy targeted at. So you could virtually copy his, but we can send people that opened emails, clicked emails, didn't open emails. We've got a lot of choices here. And then, Jimmy, once we have the list, go back, because obviously you just build these lists once or twice. You can always go in and build a list in real time. But once you've got a list, watch this, you guys. Like, we have used so many email marketing tools and we never liked any of them. Watch what our email marketing tool looks like. When Jimmy goes in to send an email now, choose the list there, Jimmy. I don't know.
Yeah, let me go ahead and refresh here because the webinar's going to hang. Yeah, it's going to hang.
Yeah, we have a lot of tabs open at this point. I think people understand. And I bet there's a million people on Curaytor.com too. Yeah, and for anybody asking, we are recording it. We will send the recording. You can get a one-on-one demo anytime by putting your phone number and zip code in. So if you want to see this slower with one of our sales team, that's what they're doing right now. Again, they probably won't get back to you for today or tomorrow, but I think, Jimmy, I don't know if you checked, but there's like 60, 70 people that put their phone number already. Like, it's a lot of people. So they're going to be busy. But this is our email screen. This is it. Like, why should your email marketing tool look so different than your Gmail? You know what I mean? Like, we saw all these email marketing tools and they were so ugly. So this one is so simple. And all Jimmy has to do is click load template. You remember earlier, we actually saved a template. So let's just pretend it's the top one. And now he's got the email and all he has to do is edit it. That was an email that crushed it and got Ahmed a bunch of listings. So when you're in Brain and you're favoriting an email, it's now one click to add it to send to your list. Obviously, you would edit it and tweak it. But then the other cool thing, Jimmy, show how easy it is to add an emoji, because everybody saw the emojis. A lot of email tools can't even do that yet.
Yeah, so you can do a couple things here. You know, for those of you who are familiar with Macs, you can hit what was it, Command space bar. I got all of Stephanie's emojis here pulled up, so you can insert it into the subject line here if you want. But then we also have it in the actual editor itself if you want to add some emojis that way. You can do that as well. But to Chris's point earlier, the reason you would do that is because you learn through Brain that that actually works, and that the top emails oftentimes have.
Well, Jimmy, look how good the video emails work. Show them how to add a video. It's like one click, bomb integration. You can record a new one, or you can choose from your library of existing ones. So we just wanted to make getting a proven email to the right people out the door as simple as effective as possible. We hope you guys love what you're seeing with what we call Blast. Remember, create great content, advertise it effectively, blast it to the right people through email. And now, Jimmy, this is the last piece, not quite the last piece, but the last piece of the technology, which I'm the most excited about, is, okay, now what do you do? What do you do once you've done your cab? What do you do once you run a campaign? And what most people do is they actually log in to a very complicated database. Like, I've been in sales forever. I've been doing sales for over a decade. I've used more CRMs and databases, Salesforce. At Quicken Loans, we had a custom one. I worked for Top Producer for 3 years and sold and trained on Top Producer. Dotloop, they had Salesforce. We've been using Follow Up Boss, Jimmy. We use Follow Up Boss as our CRM. We have clients that use Follow Up Boss. So there is literally a ton of interest in CRM, but we just think they're all broken. We think they're a necessary evil. So I wrote a book called The Conversion Code, and now I got a chance with Jimmy and the product team to build a sales tool of the future. Because once you've done a campaign, you start getting things happening. People start opening things. People start clicking on things. So Jimmy, before you even go into that, at the very top, what does it say? There's new events. This is real time, you guys. Watch this. So if Jimmy clicks refresh, open, this is you guys. This is you. Like, go to Curaytor.com right now. Click around a little bit. Darren is on the webinar. That's why he's at the top. So what we've done is we've taken all of the leads that are the most likely to buy out of your CRM for you, and we put them in a list that looks like a game. There's another new event. So Jimmy, let's go a little deeper here. We've got a few people right now to choose from. Should I follow up with Susan or should I follow up with Morris? Well, Morris has 68 points and Susan has 38. So without having any knowledge or any training, I want to ask the audience, who should I focus on first, guys? Morris or Susan? You tell me. I don't know. Morris, right? Like, this is not complicated, but people make it so complicated. So we basically just said people understand points and people understand bells, right? Like, people understand normal stuff. And so, Jimmy, click again. There's another new event. So, guys, this is the screen you go to as soon as you send the email, as soon as you run the ad, and it just starts populating. But we've got all this data on Maris. We see that this is assigned to Darren. She's a hot prospect. We can see how long she's been in the database. We can also see everything she's ever done on our site, every email she's ever opened. And we didn't even leave Curaytor. We didn't even have to leave Curaytor. We didn't even actually leave the screen we were on. We just opened it up and then Jimmy could close it. Like, for those of you, please, because I've been in sales for so long, please tell me that just at a quick glance, you love what you're seeing with follow-up, because this is what salespeople are looking for. Like, who's the hottest lead? Just tell me. How many points do they have? Jimmy, talk a little bit about following and unfollowing, because we all know how to do that on Twitter. We all know how to do that on Facebook. But like, when we log into our database, it feels like we're back in the 80s. Talk about this feature.
Yeah, it's one of the probably the biggest pain points when I was talking with our sales team and working with the thousands of clients we work with at Curaytor, is that organizing and tagging and categorizing and sourcing your leads is probably one of the most difficult, painful things that people oftentimes neglect. And as a result, they get confused when they log in because they don't know who's important and who's not important. So the follow feature, like Chris mentioned with Twitter, is when you follow somebody, when I click on that bell icon, the next time an event happens, the next time they open up one of my marketing emails, the next time they click on one of my Facebook ads, the next time they check out a page on my website, I will be alerted, and we have integrations with Slack and other ones coming in the future. I'll be alerted that, hey, Maris is back on the website right now looking at my new homepage, or Maris is back, opened up my most recent email about availability. So the ability to follow someone is the ability for a salespeople to say, I've talked to this person, I've interacted with this person, they're important. I don't need a new category or a new tag. I just follow them. And the next time they come back on the radar, because marketing is creating an advertising blasting, I get alerted.
Like, I'm in the room right now that Neil and Darren and all these guys do their calls from, and they have a whiteboard, right? The whiteboard or the notepad never went away. So now you just click one button and show. It doesn't just give you alerts if you click the button, Jimmy. It also puts them on a different list. Like, if you click on the drop down, people I follow. So stay right there for 1 second, Jimmy. Not only do you have this real-time list, the list we've been on is the most recent active. So that would be the list that you would definitely go to when you've just done a campaign. But you can also see your list by the most points, and you can also see just the people you follow. And so if you think about it, what else do you need? You got your best leads overall with your most points. You've got the leads that have been the most recent active on the site or through email. And you've got the people you said are good. Like, people put too many features in these things. So, Jimmy, it's funny because people are asking in the chat, like mad, about Follow-Up Boss. And I want you to talk about how this is available as a standalone option. And we actually think a lot of our small business clients are only going to want to use this. We think a lot of our small business clients are going to want to plug Salesforce into this. We think a lot of our yoga studios are going to want to plug their CRM into this. So talk a little bit about Follow-Up Boss and sort of what's under the hood, because this is definitely smoke and mirrors. But we don't care. We want it to work. We want people to close more deals. So this is a new way. We call it the un-CRM, the non-CRM, the layer on top of your CRM. Can you talk a little bit about how that dynamic works, Jimmy?
Sure. So I think you summed it up pretty perfectly when you said marketers want options. They want ability to personalize. They want choices. Salespeople don't. So fundamentally, CRMs do a lot of things exceptionally well. The ability to route leads, the ability to sort of put action plans in place, the ability to tag and organize and upload and delete. These are functions that complement the sales process, but actually aren't necessarily related to you identifying the best people to follow up with it right now. And because they're forced to put everything under a one login, most people when they log in their CRM are oftentimes paralyzed. So what we do with Follow Up Boss and what we'll do with future CRM partners is we integrate with them. We pull down all the data, all the relevant information that is going to help us identify the right people, and that goes into our algorithm that shows how many points you have. So CRMs are tools that most complex sales organizations need. If you have 2, 3, 4, 5 salespeople, generally speaking, you're going to want to have a CRM for lead routing and lead assignment, things of that nature. But if you're an individual entrepreneur or maybe have only 2 or 3 salespeople, you can get away with saying, here's a list of people to follow up with right now because they interacted with a marketing campaign. So as Chris mentioned, Curaytor, the Magic Moments, is going to be a layer on top of a CRM. It will be a standalone product for people who have a simple sales structure, but it can integrate with people who need, let's say, the complexity and the additional features of a CRM.
I mean, we're not bashing CRM. We're just saying there's a new and better way. Like think about Salesforce. Salesforce is worth $80 billion and they have 2,500 apps that plug into Salesforce.
Think about that for a second. 2,500 apps. And I'm going to pull up real quickly if I could find just an image here, because I think it's important for everyone to see when you look at, I'm looking at a screenshot here of a Salesforce dashboard. Like, come on.
This is what CRM looks like. And Jimmy, there's a joke, and they're worth 80 billion, so they can probably take a joke. But the joke is that they called it Salesforce because you have to force salespeople to use it. And I've seen that pain that people have. So we're going to be integrating with the best CRMs out there. But starting today, we already have the full integration with Follow Up Boss done. So if you've got a lot of agents on your team and a lot of lead sources, we will set Follow Up Boss up for you so that in theory, the only thing you really need to do is come here. We will actually put it under the hood so that this magic moment screen will do what you're seeing. There's some complex stuff under the hood, but our team does all that for you. Your team just has to log into this. So Jimmy, people are blown away with this, by the way. The real salespeople, I love what they're doing. And there is times, Jimmy, where you have to go really deep, into something like, cleaning out your database, or you have to add a new user, or you have to set up a new action plan, or you have to go in and try to calculate some ROI. Do you see what I'm saying? So with that mindset, there's going to be times Sarah goes in there. There's going to be times I go in there as the owner. But on a daily basis, I don't think that there's a salesperson in the world that would rather use the screen Jimmy showed from Salesforce over this screen. That's what we're betting on. But we're not disrespecting the CRM because in many cases, it's necessary for this to be so simple.
Yeah, for sure. And let me just make one last point, Chris, before we wrap it up here and before we get into some Q&A, because I know we have a lot of questions coming in. I think that the opportunity here, this is a big pro tip for everyone who's listening. We have an obsession, and this is a book Chris wrote about it, Conversion Code, about how to manage converting online leads. The biggest opportunity we have as marketers are the people who already know us. And so much of sales is focused on, and for those of you who are listening, you can relate to this, is focused on strangers. And it's really hard to sell to strangers. So for us, what we focus on is highlighting the people in your database you should follow up with based on their most recent activity, but that includes your past client, your sphere of influence, your network. And it's so important to understand that, because if you run a marketing campaign or advertising campaign, the goal is actually to attract people, not leads, people that you can sell to. And those people are oftentimes your past clients and your sphere of influence. So not only do I feel like, Chris, we built the best sales tool to convert new leads, I feel we built the best sales tool to help clients stay in touch with their past clients and sphere of influence.
Yeah, exactly, because that's where a lot of the money is made. And like Jimmy said, we're going to get into the questions, but I want to get into the pricing, Jimmy. I want to get into what the next steps are for people that want to take advantage of the all new Curaytor. And one of the things that we are doing is we've actually had a $1,275 per month price for a long time. If you sign up for Curaytor, every single thing we just showed you is included for $1,275 a month with no setup fee. And think about how much it would cost just to get a custom site. Think about how much it would cost just to have someone architect your CRM. Think about how much we could charge just for the sales tool. Think about how much we could charge just for the Facebook ads and the brain. So we didn't even used to have any of that, Jimmy, and still people still paid $1,275 and they love us. So we are raising our prices. Starting January 1st, Curaytor and our marketer program, which I'll discuss in a minute, is going up in price. And the people that we're not going to raise the price for are our current clients. So all of our current clients are getting all of these upgrades for free, and they're getting grandfathered in at the old pricing when the prices go up. And if you want to take advantage of that too, you need to put your cell phone number and your zip code in the chat right now. Now, normally it takes us 4 to 6 weeks to launch. You can see that. And we also have exclusivity. We work with 2 people per market. We define a market as 2 zip codes. There's times where that's a little different, but the sales rep can tell you about that. But Curaytor is $1,275 a month, and it's a 6-month contract. What we're doing for the rollout is a little different, you guys, okay? You're going to make your first payment today. And then we're not going to charge you again until your website launches. We know that our focus over the next 4 to 6 weeks is the people that already have Curaytor. So if you sign up today, we're going to charge you today. That's going to secure your area. That's going to secure your license. And that's going to you're going to be a client. But we're not going to bill you like we normally do. Normally, we're set up by month 2. We're set up by month 3. So you're going to make your first payment of $1,275, and then you're going to get billed again the day that we launch your website, which is going to be in early January. Early January is when you start, even if you sign up today. Think about you watch the Apple keynote, right? You watch the Apple keynote, you want the new iPhone, but you got to wait a little while. And that's exactly what's happening here with Curaytor. So if you want to work with us before your area sells out, put your phone number and your zip code in the chat right now. We are going to do some questions, but we're also going to shut the webinar down in a few minutes. And we're only going to honor the people that sign up in the chat. That's the only place we're checking. Now, the other thing you see there is you see a person. You see a dude. You see a guy named Tyler. And what we learned along the way, Jimmy, remember we started with ideas and then it went to create, advertise, blast, and magic. But along that journey, you need people to help you. And a lot of people actually want someone to do it all for them. And so we started a program 1 year ago that has been sold out ever since. You literally have to buy it and then wait for it, kind of like the new Curaytor. And it's called Curaytor Marketer. So for $25.50 a month, someone that we hired, that we trained, that we hold accountable, that we keep an eye on what they're tweeting, we have a program called Curaytor Marketer. And it has been an absolute game changer for the people who have hired our marketers. These are digital millennials that are blogging, advertising, and emailing for you. And they're hired and trained by Jimmy and I. They report directly to us and Tyler. But then what's really cool is they do it every week and they do it with consistency and quality. Quite frankly, if you go log into Curaytor Brain and you look at all the stuff that does the best, those are the people that did it. So they focus on using Curaytor for you. You don't have to worry about recruiting, coaching. Curaytor Marketer has been a game changer. We had so many clients where they had somebody on their staff, but they didn't have expertise in this. They had somebody on their staff, but they didn't know how to do Facebook ads. They didn't know how to do Photoshop. They didn't know how to do email marketing. So we literally will sell you a Curaytor Marketer, and they will use the entire system for you. That's $1,275 a month. Good luck finding that level of work in this country. Good luck finding a high school or college kid that will use Curaytor and use all the brain and all the data to help you grow your business When you have a Curaytor marketer, Jimmy, here's what's cool. This has been an hour 15 minutes, and everybody's still on. But when you have the Curaytor marketer, the biggest difference is the only thing you have to do is wait for those magic moments to come in, because they're building the site for you. They're building the ad, the blast, the email, and you just get to be on that last screen, the one where all the money gets made, the one that shows you exactly who to follow up with. So when you have a Curaytor marketer, you get more opens, more website traffic, more leads, more magic moments. Your database grows exponentially. Now, we have a lot of clients, Jimmy. We have some of the most talented marketing people in the world who actually work for our clients. People like Amy Youngren have a full-time marketing person on staff. People like Elena with Ashley have a full-time marketing person on staff. And if you can do that and you can find the right person and pay them well, that's a great option. But for $1,200 a month, we think we're a great option too. In fact, because the marketer is helping you generate and convert leads, your marketer can do a little bit more of the fluffy stuff. Your marketer can do a little bit more of the branding and the video stuff and the Instagram stuff, because our marketer is growing your database. Our marketer is warming up your leads for you. So I'd love you guys, if you have any questions about the marketer program or any questions about anything you saw today on the webinar, please put those in the chat. You're also going to, yeah, thank you, Harry. By the way, guess who the coaches are? It's me and Jimmy. Not only just for the marketers, for our clients. Jimmy does a weekly coaching called Refresh. We do an annual conference called Excellence. We build workbooks. We have a thing called Curaytor 101. Our clients get access to the conversion course. So yeah, I want to go into it, but yeah, Christy, great question. Can the marketer be added later? Yes. You could actually secure your spot now and add the marketer later. And that's what a lot of our clients do, because they DIY or they kind of one-on-one growth coaching or one-on-one support calls with our team, because no one is marketing alone at Curaytor. You've got the brain and you've got our team, even if you don't upgrade to marketer. But you can add Curaytor marketer anytime you'd like to, and we will hold that spot for you in your market, because once you just have the regular license, you're all set. Yeah. Thank you, Richard. Richard is a client now. He said, if you want to hit the ground running, marketer is the way to go. The way we usually explain it, Jimmy, is very simple. If you have more money than time, you should do marketer. If you have more time than money, you should just start with Curaytor. But $1,275 a month. The other thing, and Ursula and a bunch of people are asking, Jimmy, all of our current clients, guys, 100% of our current clients are getting all of these upgrades for free. Their pricing is getting grandfathered in, and you're getting access before any new customers before the end of this year. All new customers start next year. So we're one of the companies that takes care of our current folks. Christy had another great question. Is there a 6-month contract on marketer? Yes, there is. 6-month contract, either way you go. And then it's month to month after that. Our clients typically stay with us for a long, long time. Also, just being real, within 6 months, we know if it's a good fit. So we don't want to keep you for a year, but it takes us, like I said, 4 to 6 weeks to build it. So we need a little bit of a commitment from you guys. Tish, do you have help for conversion of databases and download? Yeah, that's something, there's a lot of X's and O's involved in launching a system. I think our support team, Jimmy, does 192 things before the client ever logs in. This is the combination of people and tech. We don't think the robots win. We think Rebecca wins. So if you need help uploading a database, if you need help downloading contacts, if you need help creating a custom audience on Facebook, that is exactly what our team does all day. That is literally what their entire day consists of.
Yeah, Chris, I love Tish's question here, which is, I have 3 CRMs, Bold Leads, Real Geeks, and Infusionsoft. What do I keep? Now, I'm not going to answer the question, Tish. I have opinions on it, but I think that it's actually the reason we built what we built, so you don't have to have 3 CRMs. You don't have to have 20 different logins, because I think ultimately it creates a ton of inefficiencies in the sales process.
Yeah, I mean, we work with people that have 130,000 leads and they have a very, very advanced Infusionsoft system, and they just like our approach. This is us. Like, we don't have every feature. We don't integrate with everybody. You either get what we've built or you use other stuff. And like we said, there's tons of great tools. We mentioned half of them: Real Geeks, Infusionsoft. They're all great. But we think that you need ideas and execution as much as you need feature number 84. Thank you, Ursula. Jimmy, Ursula said she would sign up again if she wasn't a client. I love that. And then the $25.50 a month is indefinite. So if you keep the marketer and curator, $25.50. And then there is a little disclaimer, but basically, Facebook is pay to play. Like, I don't know if you guys know this is breaking news. Go look at all the news right now, but Facebook is pay to play. So if you sign up to use our marketer, we need them to have a budget. So there is a minimum $500 a month budget if you do the marketer, and that will get billed separately to your credit card by Facebook. New customers for Curaytor base, Brandon, is $12.75. We are going up on prices on January 1st, and it's not an insignificant increase. I'll put it that way. Yes, David, great question. If you do marketer and curator, we're grandfathering in both on Jan 1. Thank you, Charles. No better transition to any platform than when we move to Curaytor. Our team is world class. Holly, Launch Squad, Growth Squad, Refresh. We really are obsessed with service. And those of you that don't know Charles Burgess, look him up. The kid's doing good stuff. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa's like, I think you're going to close everyone. Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. How much does it take a newbie? Yeah, Norm, our goal is to launch Curaytor as fast as we can for people. You know, that's really our goal. And so we want to go from 4 to 6 weeks to 4 to 6 days, but I can't talk about that yet. But we will be launching it very soon. Yeah, great question, Kelly. This is one of the things that we love about Marketer. Our marketers are not realtors, they're marketers. And so you can hire Curaytor marketer for any industry. They can create content for car dealerships, attorneys, mortgage companies. Curaytor marketer is available for any industry starting today, not just in real estate, but it's not available in Canada right now. We'll talk about that later. Here's a good question from Joe. Jimmy, is Follow-Up Boss included in the fee? It is now. It is right now. It probably won't be soon. So you might want to factor that in too, my friend. But right now, $12.75 includes Follow-Up Boss for you and your whole team. And it's way more expensive if you do it on your own. Tish had a question. What's a good budget for an ad? Typically, Tish, we like people to spend 50 to 100 minimum. It depends on your market, depends on your inventory of listings. Some of the listings you basically are free ads because they do so good. But I would say that if I were running an ad right now and our marketers do it, we put 100 to 150 a week behind it. You can do 20 and 50, and we see it all the time. But typically, if you're going to promote a listing, just go for it. The bigger the budget, the bigger the results if it's the right home. Joe, we're grandfathering it in forever. We're not raising our base prices. We have no plans of doing it. Obviously, you know, it's just us saying that, but like we're not raising prices. It's $12.75. The people that pay it now have paid it forever. It's not going up. If you were a client with us in the past, this is a good question. Yeah, Jimmy, Justin is requesting a refresh, which is our internal coaching on the sales tool. But we want to do that training for you guys when you can actually use it. You know what I mean? We don't want to, but honestly, I'm so proud. You don't need a training. It's super simple. Aaron, great question. Aaron Grossman, he's a doctor, got a really cool company called Checked. What does the average client spend in Facebook ads? I would say, you know, the 500 is sort of what we tell people is a minimum. You know, there's clients that are spending $3,000, $5,000. We spend about 15 to 20 grand. But I would say the average client is spending between 500 and 1,000 a month. Eric, how soon will clients get it? Before the end of the year. Marketer clients are getting access first. We're actually giving the marketers access so they can go in and make it great. And then their clients get it, and then all the clients get it. But everybody by the end of the year. Cool. Thank you, Kay. Avon, how do we handle industries that we aren't familiar with? We think of it this way. You're not really good with Facebook ads, email marketing, and website design. So we may not be really good with your industry at first. But if you think that we can get to know it and we can research it while you do the work, we're excited. My book went viral. It's been published in 7 countries, and it's not about real estate. So we basically look for companies that have, one, a high transactional value. So obviously, real estate agents make a lot of money if a lead converts. Car dealers, doctors, lawyers, right? Or we work with people that have a high lifetime value. So let's say you're a guru or a coach and your product is $99 a month, but it's a 6 or 12-month commitment. So if you have a high transactional or lifetime value of a customer, we would love to chat with you, and we'll figure your industry out faster than anyone else. Let's see. Yeah, that's a great point there, Anne Marie. What we do with our marketers is we actually limit the total number of clients that they can work with. So they don't have a unlimited workload. We make sure that they can do quality, consistent work. And yeah, Jessica's asking, like, instead of following up in Follow Up Boss, could we come in here? Yes, that's what we're doing. That's why we built it. You can go to Follow Up Boss if you need to, but all of your agents would be assigned to log into Curaytor, and they would all see the leads on that tab Jimmy had, and it would be, their leads only. So they would just see the leads assigned to them. This is Laura. Good question. She said, "Is it available in Canada?" Curaytor is available in Canada. Curaytor Marketer is not available in Canada right now because we have to make sure that we're CASL compliant. We don't want to get anybody in trouble or ourselves. Cool. Yeah, everything is going to be ready soon for current clients. Just lots of questions about that. Yeah, that's a good question, Philip. And I'm going to be really frank with you. He's saying, if you're a customer now and you do marketer next year, will it be more expensive? Yes. Charles, thanks for the feedback. He's basically saying it's like everybody signs up for the gym. Curaytor's like the buddy that actually goes with you and makes you do the stuff, which I think is a really good analogy. Thank you, Richard. Richard said the mastermind alone is worth $12.75. Well, guys, we are running out of questions. I want you guys to have one last chance. If you want to work with us, I need your zip code and your phone number in the chat. And Mark, when we work with the right client, the return on investment is uncalculatable. You're getting all, like, if you just go buy websites and buy all these tools, it's about half that cost. And then if you use them by yourself, it usually hurts your brand. It doesn't help it. So if our clients can't get an ROI, we part ways after 6 months. But ultimately, you've seen what we offer and you see what the price is and you know what you do on your end. So if you're a great business, you'll get great results. But we can't always control that second part. We don't know what you sell yet. We don't know how many reviews you have, how many homes you sell, whatever you may do. So cool. Let's see. Yeah, we still do all the MLS integration. Jimmy, I love when you give a good presentation, people forget what to ask. But the MLS, IDX, home search, all of that will still be there for real estate clients. We just weren't quite ready to show that yet. Awesome, Greg. Greg said he's in the music industry. His head is spinning. So yeah, I have starting to build a little following of athletes and musicians and fitness models. Like the conversion code, it really did blow up. So it's been fun to meet all those new people. Yeah, Elena, here's the key. A lot of people end up with fake emails. We've found a way to avoid that through Facebook Reg. But what I would tell Elena or anybody else on the call, if you have an email, but you don't have a phone number, and then you create a list that's really small of people that you do have the email, and you send a really relevant email to a small list of people, the conversation unfolds. Getting their email is easy if you send them a good message. It's just tough to get emails when you blast email. So if you send an email to someone that you only have their email and you say, "Hey, I saw that you're looking at a couple houses on my site this week. Looks like you're looking between 200,000 and 300,000. Did you want to go see this one this weekend?" Like when you're relevant, the phone numbers happen. And when you actually offer great deliverables, more phone numbers happen. But yeah, if you're just doing top of funnel, magic million, really wide ads to get a lot of leads, it's sometimes better to just get the email at the top of the funnel and to get the phone number at the bottom of the funnel. Yeah, Joe, great question. Jimmy, you might want to answer this one. I'm sorry, I'm trying my best, but is there still a need for Slack to get the alerts? That is a question that I think I know the answer to, but I don't want to misquote you here. But
Sure.
how do alerts work? Because if somebody has Follow Up Boss and then they did the Slack integration, like how do the alerts work in the new Curaytor?
Yeah, well, I think fundamentally the short answer is we already have a version of Magic Moments Live that our clients love. So we're going to continue to use the Slack integration because people are already trained on that, and we don't want to have to retrain people on using the new technology. So we still will integrate with Slack, but fundamentally, if you think about it, the direction we're headed at Curaytor, and this is sort of alluded to in the call, is we want to make following up with the right people at the right time as seamless as possible. So I would expect and anticipate us to get into SMS and email alerts and Chrome notifications and the browser and in-app notifications. All those things are certainly on the horizon for us because we just want you to say, hey, here's a hot lead. Here's how many points they have. You haven't followed it in a while. Pick up the phone and call them or shoot them a text or shoot them an email. Like that's how simple sales should be. And that's going to be our focus.
Yeah. Basically, once we're done, no one will use Slack, Jimmy. That's what you're trying to say. Be nice about it.
Basically.
No one's going to use Slack or Follow Up Boss for alerts for this piece. You'll still want to get new lead alerts. You might want to get like, some of the alerts from FUB or the CRM, but mostly we'll handle alerts on this side because these are the leads that are the most likely to buy. That's the problem. When you get alerts on everything, you might as well not get alerts on anyone. Quick question here, Jimmy. This is one we get quite a bit in sales, so I'll answer it. Is this overkill for a single agent? I don't know, man. You tell me. How many homes did you sell? How much money do you make? What's your budget? If you can pay 30 grand a year and have us do all your marketing, what would happen for your business? How much marketing are you doing now? What does your website look like now? So some single agents, they sell 8 homes a year for $1 million each and they can afford us. But typically, if you're a new agent or a solo agent, we're out of your price point anyway. So we typically work with teams and top producers. So I would say, is it overkill for your budget? If the answer is yes, then we're definitely not a good fit. Can a single agent use Curaytor and grow tremendously? Absolutely. Call Jordan Rossman, call Amanda Todd, call Carrie Qualters, call all the people that did it. But it's got to be the right fit. It's got to be, it's sometimes a unique situation. It's usually when a solo agent has tapped out on what they can do alone is when we become a good fit. Cool. And there are a ton of people. We're gonna send. That's a good question, Joe. The send email and the reply email is your email. He said, "What is the reply in the from email on emails we send?" It's mine. Go in your inbox, Chris@Curaytor.com. You got it from me. Great question, Connor. Do we get better conversions with FB registration or regular? Facebook registration is 10 times better, and every lead is accurate, and every lead has a name, and then we can do merge codes in the follow-up because we have their name. Facebook registration is better. Norm has a great question here, Jimmy. How much time do we get with your marketer per call and per week? As much or little as you need, Norm. I mean, the whole point of it is that you're busy and they're doing it for you, but they definitely want to learn your market. They definitely are want to gonna chat with you about your listings and stuff they need from you to do their job for the next 90 days. But you can talk to Tyler pretty much any day, all day, and then your actual marketer you'll talk to weekly. But if they're doing it right and you guys have the right relationship, you could do a lot of the correspondence digitally, and then just do a lot of phone calls up front so that you learn each other real good. Yeah, Liz had a question about IDX. IDX is important to us, Liz. We want to make it better. We are making it better, but ultimately, it's not our focus. So if you're really like IDXy and you really want home search and you really want advanced home search and you really want listing alerts and you really want all those tools, we're just not the right company for you. Yeah, good question, Lori. Jimmy, I'm gonna put you on the spot here for this one. Is Brain, and then I'll add, can I access Curaytor Brain? Is that an app or can we access that on our phone?
Yeah, so I like how you're asking me the tough questions here. Yeah, Laura, you can access it on your phone. But as you could imagine, we eat our own dog food here at Curator, and one of the biggest requests we get for our marketers is just the ability to quickly check on a campaign, when they're mobile. So we're certainly heading in that direction, in that sort of app environment direction. You can access it on the phone, but it's not necessarily built for the phone at this point.
Yeah, I've been messing with the sales tool all morning, and it works great. I haven't really played with Brain as much, but we totally see that. And Jimmy, we talked about that yesterday. Brain and the sales tool are probably the things people will do on mobile. So we have big plans there for sure. Allison, great question. The base system does include IDX. It includes the data feed, the team setting it up. The base system does include IDX. Question from Aaron. Can Facebook ads extend in a radius around 2 allotted zip codes? Yes, they can. Unlimited radius, 25 miles, 50 miles. You can do 2 zip codes plus a radius. You can do 2 zip codes with no radius. Very, very flexible on sort of radius target. You could also, Aaron, drop a pin on a map and just say, give me a radius around this pin. It's super cool. Dean, what is the cost for just Magic Moments to tie into Salesforce? Well, that's my favorite question so far, Dean, because it makes me really excited that a guy that's using Salesforce wants this. But the short answer is that we don't sell any of our tools as standalone options. So we integrate, and we plan on being an integration to Salesforce. But as of right now, and it's not on our roadmap to sell any of our tech in a silo, because it's kind of the whole thing is the system. If you don't have the site and the email and the ads and the ideas, the magic moments don't really work the way you just saw them. Nicholas, great question. If we have other websites with IDX, can you work with us? Yes. Tons of our clients have Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or one of the other ones. There's a bunch of them that do great IDX and buyer stuff. And that was a big part of the reason, guys, that we worked with Follow Up Boss, because Follow Up Boss is actually compatible with every single lead source. Follow Up Boss is compatible with all of your lead sources, no matter which platform you're using. So we can dump all that into Follow Up Boss, and then Follow Up Boss will push that into our new program. And as far as the marketer, they're cabbing once a week. So they create an article or post or page, run an ad, and send an email once a week per client. Norm, sadly, it's very close, but we don't have, well, you could go to Weiniger Homes. You can go to Live Love Homes. You can go to Joe Taylor Group. Those are examples of our real estate sites, but they haven't been flipped over to the new stuff. Tish, yes, you can target by subdivision. You just put an address and a PIN. So you don't actually put the subdivision name, but it's pretty much the same thing. Will we be partnering with Contactually? We're not sure. We would love to work with any of these providers, and most of the cool ones have good APIs. So our goal is to be Switzerland. Our goal is if you have Wise Agent or Top Producer or Contactually or Salesforce or Infusionsoft, we want to be able to work with you. So that's our goal. But as of right now, we have nothing in the works. The good thing is I know all those guys. I know the guys that run all those companies. Cool. Well, one last thing, Jimmy. Do me a favor. I want you to pull up one more link. We've got a surprise for everybody that stuck with us till the end. And you officially have 60 seconds to get your phone number and zip code in the chat before we end the webinar. But Jimmy, go to the new page that we built for Curated with Chris Smith. I have a web show as well as a podcast. Pull up the calls page too, Jimmy, if you don't mind. But we've been using the site to, build some new stuff. And I have a podcast and a web show called Calls with Chris. And I have a video show called Curated. And this, Jimmy or Sarah, if you guys can drop this link in the chat for everyone, we actually have episode 2. This is the world premiere, Jimmy. No one's seen it. So we actually went to the largest marketing conference in the United States. It's called HubSpot Inbound. We call it the Disneyland for marketers. And we brought the entire Curaytor team. And we actually filmed an 11-minute podcast with all of the best takeaways from that event that we're going to be implementing for ourselves and our clients. So you can actually go to curaytor.com/curated, or you can click the link that Jimmy or Sarah will drop in the chat. but we wanted to kind of soft launch episode 2. What I'm excited about is you can see Danielle there, Jimmy. You can see Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is really Steve. He's our head of marketing. Lisa, she's one of our marketers. Steph, one of our growth coaches. So this was our team getting together at the end of the conference and doing what a lot of people try to do, which is figure out how do we go from idea to execution. And that really is what the show's about, but it's also what the new Curaytor is about as we wrap up. It's about making it as easy as ever to go from idea to execution. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to leave the chat open, even though we're going to end the webinar in case anybody else wants to put their info in. Please go check out Curated, check out calls, go to curaytor.com, click around, play with it on your phone. And I am so excited that we're going to have a bunch of new clients at the end of the day and at the end of the week. Thank you guys for joining us on such an important day at the company's history. Jimmy, thank you for helping me unveil this. And thanks to the product team, support team, growth team, marketers, marketing team, sales team. You know, Curaytor took a big leap forward today. We definitely could not have done it without all of their help too. So you and I get all the credit, but they technically do all the work. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Good luck growing your business, even if you don't hire us.